All right, today we're pulling back the curtain on some of the most powerful and, honestly, least known players inside our own bodies. Okay, think about this for a second. What on earth connects a splitting headache, that scary wheeze of an asthma attack, and the entire intense process of childbirth? I mean, they seem totally unrelated, right? Well, it turns out they're all being managed, kind of orchestrated from behind the scenes by this one powerful family of invisible chemical messengers. They're working non-stop inside our cells. And these guys, they're called eicosanoids. Now, they're not like your usual hormones that travel all over the body. Nope. Think of them more like hyperlocal, super fast-acting managers. They're made on the spot, right from the fats in our cell walls, and their whole job is to send these urgent messages to their immediate neighbors, and they control just about everything. We're talking inflammation, pain, blood pressure, even your body temperature.
So, how does this whole alarm system get switched on in the first place? Let's dive in.
Okay, so it all starts with a trigger. And this could be literally anything. A cut, a chemical signal, an allergen you just breathed in, whatever it is, that stimulus basically flips a switch on an enzyme. This enzyme then zooms over to the fatty wall of our cell, the membrane, and just snips free this very specific molecule called arachidonic acid. And that single action, it's like pulling the pin on a grenade. It sets off the entire chain reaction. And here's where the story gets really interesting. Once that arachidonic acid is set loose, it comes to a crossroads, and the path it takes decides exactly what kind of message is about to be sent. So yeah, picture a literal fork in the road. Our little molecule of arachidonic acid is floating along, and it's about to bump into one of two gatekeeper enzymes. If it goes down path number 1 and meets the COX enzyme, poof, it gets turned into a group called the Prostaglandins. You can think of these as the body's general managers. But if it takes path number 2 and meets the LOX enzyme instead, it becomes a totally different family called the Leukotrienes. And these guys are the inflammation specialists.
So let's properly meet these two families, shall we? You've got the Prostaglandins, they're the versatile managers, the jacks of all trades. They handle a massive range of jobs, everything from making your blood clot to protecting your stomach lining. Then you have the Leukotrienes, they're the specialists. Their main gig? Kicking off inflammation and allergic reactions. That's their territory.
Okay, but here's the real kicker. What's so wild about these molecules is how they can be both the hero and the villain. It all just depends on the situation. Let's take blood clotting. It's a perfect example. Inside your blood, there is this constant battle, a real push and pull going on. On one side, your platelets are making thromboxane. That's a prostaglandin that basically screams, "Form a clot right now." And that's super important for stopping you from bleeding. But at the very same time, the walls of your blood vessels are making prostacyclin, which sends the exact opposite message. Whoa, hold on, don't clot here. It's this beautiful, delicate balance that keeps your blood flowing smoothly, but also lets you heal when you get a cut.
And pain? How do they fit into that? Well, here's the key thing to get. Prostaglandins don't actually create the pain signal from scratch. Nope, what they do is they sensitize the nerve endings. It's like they grab the volume knob on any existing pain signal and just crank it all the way up. That's why you feel it so much more intensely.
I mean, look at this. It really shows you that double-edged sword perfectly. On the helpful side, you've got them protecting your stomach lining from its own acid, getting the cervix ready for labor. But then, on the harmful side, they're the very things that give you a fever, make you feel pain more acutely, and cause those brutal uterine cramps. And get this, some of them open up your airways, while others squeeze them shut. It's just the hero and the villain all wrapped up in one family of molecules.
So, if these little messengers are so incredibly powerful with all these good and bad effects, you've got to be asking, can we control them? And the answer is, absolutely, yes.
In fact, I'd bet you've already done it yourself, probably without even thinking about it. Because this is exactly where your medicine cabinet comes into play. You know, all that aspirin and ibuprofen. All right, so here's the playbook for how these drugs work. First up, you have your NSAIDs. That's stuff like aspirin and ibuprofen. They work by blocking that gatekeeper, COX enzyme. So no COX means no prostaglandinoids, and that means less pain and less fever. The downside, it also means less protection for your stomach. Then you have corticosteroids. These are the heavy hitters. They go way upstream and stop the release of arachidonic acid in the first place, shutting the whole system down before it even starts. And finally, for something like asthma, we have drugs that are way more targeted. Some of them block the other pathway, the LOX enzyme, while others just block the docking stations where those inflammatory leukotrienes are trying to land.
And you know, figuring out how to play with these pathways didn't just give us a way to manage pain. It's like we found a master key, a key that unlocks treatments for a truly incredible range of conditions.
Let's just run through some real-world examples, because this is where it gets amazing. In the delivery room, synthetic prostaglandins are used to get the cervix ready and even induce labor. That same family of drug can be used to protect the stomach and heal ulcers. Oh, and another version? It's used to treat chronic constipation by helping get more fluid into the intestines. It's just wild.
And it just keeps going. The applications are just astounding. For glaucoma, prostaglandin eye drops are the #1 choice to lower pressure in the eye. For newborns with certain heart defects, they are literally lifesavers. An infusion of a prostaglandin keeps the critical blood vessel open, which buys precious time for surgeons to operate. And for a really serious condition called pulmonary hypertension, powerful prostacyclin drugs are used to open up the blood vessels in the lungs. Just incredible.
And here's a fun one, a really surprising twist. It turns out a side effect of those glaucoma eye drops was that patients were getting longer, darker eyelashes. So what happened? Of course, that same kind of drug is now sold as a cosmetic treatment to make your eyelashes grow. I mean, think about that range. From literally saving a newborn's life to cosmetics. It's just incredible.
Okay, so it is crystal clear that these things are a master key for all sorts of treatments. But remember that double-edged sword we talked about? There's always a catch, right? So what is it when we use them as medicine?
Well, because these molecules are involved in so many fundamental processes in the body, using them as drugs can come with a whole list of side effects. You know, things like nausea, diarrhea, those are pretty common. So are fever and uterine cramps. And hey, remember those eye drops for glaucoma? They can actually permanently change the color of your eyes. That's just the price you pay for tinkering with such a core, powerful system in our biology.
So when you think about it, from a simple headache to a complex heart defect, these tiny little lipids, made right from the walls of our own cells, are a true master key. They control our body's most immediate, most powerful responses. They're the hero and the villain, the source of our pain and the target for our cures. Which leaves us with a big question, right? As we get better and better at understanding them, what other doors will this master key unlock next?